Welcome along, fellow time travelers. This time around, we are going to continue walking around Old Fort, North Carolina. I drove through this area earlier, and I'll show that dash cam footage another time, but for now, we're just going to walk around a bit and see the nightmare that these residents have been dealing with. Before I begin, please like and share the show and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Now, let's begin our journey. I've been to Asheville a bunch of times, and a lot of the small towns around the area, but I'd never been to Old Fort before. And so when I was driving west, I decided to pull over and see how this town was doing. And I recorded quite a bit of footage with my dash cam, and then I eventually pulled over and started walking around, and this is one particular area right off of the exit. And as you can see, these homes have suffered horrible damage, and all these possessions that once meant so much to people that live there are now just abandoned. I've been the victim of a natural disaster, and it's a very unusual feeling to take a look around and see all these possessions, these things that you treasured, and wondering if there's anything that you can salvage, if there's anything you should salvage. The most important thing, of course, is that you get out with your life, and that everybody gets out of there as quick as possible without any kind of harm. And of course, if there is time, save the photographs, right? Because anything can be replaced except life and photographs. I have all my family photographs in waterproof safes, so it's not something that I'm too concerned about if I'm ever in a natural disaster again. So that gives me some sort of comfort, but wow, just looking around here, it's just dreadful. This is pretty tame stuff. We're going to be getting to some pretty horrible stuff soon. And you can see that there were some mudslides around here, and this road was clearly at one point impossible to pass through. As you've heard me say before, when I do these kinds of walking tours, I look at the damage, of course, but I spend a lot of my time thinking about the people that lived here, that called this place their home. And I imagine people coming home from work, I imagine men and women in the yard, people having barbecues, people celebrating Halloween, setting everything up, preparing for Thanksgiving, preparing for Christmas. I think about the fall. I think about the winter. I think about children playing in the snow. I think about the springtime. I think about the summer. And for the rest of these people's lives, they're going to think about that day in September when everything changed for them. I think about windows being opened. And I think about cars driving by with the radio playing, the windows in the houses being open, with people listening to the radio or watching TV. I hear the different types of songs that play. Buddy Holly, Chuck Berry, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, the Beatles, Beach Boys, Rolling Stones, Belle and Sebastian. This is fascinating, isn't it? Look at these homes that were built up in preparation for something like this perhaps happening. Because the river is just right up there. And so I am sure the designers of these homes and the owners of these homes were pretty happy with their decision making, wouldn't you say? I actually lived in a house like this one time. It was pretty cool. There's a lot of homes like that for those who have been to Sanibel Island in Florida. You've got Sanibel Island and Captiva. I've often said, I shouldn't actually give you this information because it's something I should kind of keep to myself, but if there is ever a zombie apocalypse, and you never know, a zombie apocalypse could happen someday, and people all around the world don't know where to go, I am going to Sanibel Island. For those of you who have been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's just one bridge. That's it. And if something happens to that bridge, no one's getting on that island. And so I'm going there because, there's hotels at the end, and you could have all the key lime pie you want for the rest of your life. And zombies can't get there. Unless they're going to get in a boat, which is unlikely. So I shouldn't tell you this, right? Because now if there's a zombie apocalypse, all of you are going to be like, hey, let's go to Sanibel Island. I heard that's a good place to go. It really is, though. But anyway, how sad is this? How tragic is this? My goodness, what these poor people had to deal with. But like I said, I don't know what it is, but as I walk through areas like this, I really hear music playing from the windows. Don't you? Are you like that? Do you see people running around? I see this right in front of me. I see it all. But it's like an overlay, like another layer on top, where I see all of this as it looked 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Okay, so now we've got this trailer park. And as we know, trailer parks get a very bad rap. Whenever there's a hurricane in Florida or tornadoes, it's like, oh man, those people are going to be in a lot of trouble. And that's definitely what happened here. This is pretty bad. And I think about what this was like weeks ago, before any of this happened. You've got Dad pulling up in his truck. He's been working all day. Mom got home before him. The kids are doing their homework. Dad's got the windows down. Earth, Wind, and Fire is playing on the radio, and he's singing along. Do you remember the 21st of September? Love was changing the minds of pretenders while chasing the clouds away. Our hearts were ringing in the key that our souls were singing. As we danced in the night, remember how the stars stole the night away. He steps on the brakes, puts the car in park, gets out of the truck, and walks to his home, as he did countless times before. But that's not happening now, is it? All these people have lost their homes. And imagine how violent this all was. And we could only hope that nobody was home when this happened. I mean, this was flooded, and the land around them collapsed. This was their home. This is where people lived. And man, these homes got filled with water. And if you got trapped in one of these, ooh, child, you would not want to be in there. How sad is this to see? Think of this deck falling apart. Imagine how many times the people who lived here sat on that porch, sitting in the chairs, looking up at the stars, playing the radio. And imagine these people returning here and walking around like I am right now, and like you are, and seeing all of this. This was their neighborhood. Kids coming home from school, parents going out for dinner, going out to the movies, hanging out with friends, having a barbecue, relatives coming to visit, and look what's happened to their homes. This horrible, horrible destruction. So many people have come and gone. Their faces fade as the years go by. Yet I still recall as I wander on, as clear as the sun in the summer sky. You know that song? More Than a Feeling by Boston. How often do you think that song played from radios inside these people's homes? Imagine being stuck in here during all the flooding. And you're looking around and trying to figure out where to go and how in the world this is happening to you. You know, one thing I never did understand during tragedies is if and when anybody takes it personally. Because it's not happening because of one particular person, and nobody escapes because of the good graces of a higher power. Because to think that is really just horrible, isn't it, for all the victims that didn't make it. You know, I think about September 11th, when you had thousands of people who lost their lives. And in all the years that I've seen interviews with survivors, I don't think I ever heard a single person say, "I was saved by the grace of God." I don't think anybody feels that way. Because if they did, that would mean that everybody else was meant to die. And nobody wants to think that. Sometimes horrible things just happen to people. And there is no why. There's only how and when and where and who and what. But there is no why. Look how they went crashing into each other. I mean, many of these just got lifted up off their foundations by the heavy and powerful thrust of the water and just crashed into one another like they were toys. Horrible. Absolutely horrible to see. And once again, the smell in the air is pretty bad. You've got a lot of dust, got a lot of dirt, and you've got everything just all mixed together. The wood, the fabric, the smell of moisture and decay. So, what do you think about what happened here in Old Fort? Do you have any ideas about what they should do with this area? Should people's homes be replaced exactly as they were? Should the homes be elevated, like the ones we passed, in anticipation of this happening again? What ideas do you have for urban planning in this area, considering the nightmare of what's happened as a result of Hurricane Helene? Kindly let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell because there will be more videos like this one, and I hope you check those out too. Please check out the links below to learn how to support my research and productions. This channel is sponsored by campfireshop.com, where you could order the highest quality and exclusive candles, herbal supplements, teas, and more. I would also appreciate it if you could become a member of my channel and or join me on Patreon, where you can watch exclusive walk-in tours of cool places that I've been to. You could also leave a super thanks in the comments below. Kindly be kind to all of our fellow earthlings and please do not harm them. And please do yourself a favor and go to a local shelter and adopt a cat or a dog or both. You and they will be very glad that you did. Until next time, I wish you safe travels on all your journeys.